Hey everyone, and welcome back to this episode of The Theory of Why. On today's show, we're going to talk about your website. And more specifically, we're going to talk about how these 3 action items are going to help you re-envision the possibilities of your website so that way you can be excited to send your customer, your donors, or your volunteers to your website rather than saying, hey, that's our website. We're not that comfortable with it. We built it really quickly and it just is there. That's not going to work. So these 3 action items, number 1 is a clear-cut call to action. Number 2 is effectively telling your brand story. And number 3 is letting your customer and your end user know how to do business with you. So let's start. Number 1, clear-cut call to action. This is the most important thing of all marketing material. If there's not a call to action, most users aren't going to do it. Our attention span is ever decreasing and the amount of noise on the digital marketplace is always increasing. So your website needs to be very clear of how they can get in contact with you and how they can start doing business with you. So simple as that. Let's put a button right at the top. Call now. Fill out web form. Start today. Be really assertive with that, have it stand out. Maybe even have that button follow the user all the way down the website so they always have the option to get started with your brand today. Number 2 is effectively telling your story. So too often we look at a website as, hey, this is just a hub of content. There's some information on there. People could, learn about our board of directors or the people who work here. But I might not even know what it is that your mission does or what your business is, what your product or services even are. Right away, within that first 3 to 10 seconds, I need to be able to say, hey, that company, that nonprofit, here's what they do and here's why I should care, right? Think to a newspaper, the above the fold, right? As a former newspaper junkie, I was always excited when I was on A1 or B1 above the fold because it meant that I was going to attract the end reader. And that person is going to say, oh my gosh, that's Alec McChesney. This story is about what? And that headline was the most important thing in order for them to read the article. It's the same thing with your website. If that instant gratification, that grab is not, oh my gosh, now I know what FireSpring does, then they're not going to stay and they're likely not going to move on in your buyer's journey. Number 3, right? This is probably my favorite one. Number 3 is telling somebody how to do business with you. So you've got them on your website. It's a beautiful design, but they're like, okay, how do I get started? Maybe there's not a clear call to action or the call to action is just call now or get started and it's a web form. But what does that mean? How do I actually do business with you? So the story brand philosophy, it's, hey, you need to be able to tell your story and how to work with them within 1 to 7 steps. FireSpring, we really like to recommend 4 steps or less. Hey, this is how you're going to get started. You sign up, you fill out that web form. Number 2, someone's going to get in contact with you. Number 3, you're going to try it out. Number 4, you're going to purchase a new bed. No matter what it is, if this is a donation, if it's a volunteer, product or service, having a very clear 4-step plan of how someone gives you money is absolutely essential. Stop making it difficult for people to work with you. So your challenge for today's show is take a look at your website. If you don't have those 3 items, take a step back and say, hey, how can we have a clearer call to action? How can we more effectively tell our story and why that story should matter to our end user? And number 3, does it even tell them how they're going to work with us or how we work with them? If you can't answer those questions from your website alone, get started today. Those are easy fixes you can make before the new year. Have a great day.